Hi, I'm Jim Paxson. Tonight we're going to show you some of the best ways for you to see wildlife, from bighorn sheep on the Colorado River to birds in your own backyard. All that and more coming up right now on Arizona Wildlife Views.
Arizona Wildlife Views is brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sport Fish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
Welcome to our show. Being able to see and photograph wildlife in their native habitat is a special treat. In our first story tonight, you'll meet a woman who can help you be better at both.
Arizona boasts 556 confirmed species of birds plus 35 species that are unconfirmed. It's no wonder that birding is a popular pastime here, enjoyed by thousands every day. One reason for birding's popularity is a chance to enjoy the natural world. No matter where you live, you can interact with birds. In fact, some of the best birding spots are right in your own backyard.
The snowy egret and the ibis there.
Peggy Coleman, avid bird photographer, discusses how she combines her passion for photography and birding.
I've had a love of photography my entire life. The first bird that got me interested in bird photography was our friend the cactus wren. One day when I was at the Desert Botanical Garden walking along, just enjoying the beautiful garden, and came across a cactus wren sitting on a cactus and took a picture. And about the time I took the picture, he looked up. And it is still to this day my favorite photograph of a cactus wren. That was the one that did it for me. From there, it was just love of birds. I came by it naturally. My grandmother raised finches when I was a little girl, and my parents loved birds, and more so my father than anything. He taught me very well that some of the best places to see birds and wildlife is in your own backyard. And that is definitely where I spend a lot of my time. Being that I live in a very urban area, I live in a home that's over 100 years old, historical home in downtown Glendale. I spend a lot of time in the backyard just seeing who flies in, and I'm rarely disappointed. Had a family of Harris's hawks that came to visit last year, and really a lot of fun watching the juveniles with that. I had Lewis's woodpeckers come down, which is unusual for the valley, and camped in the front palm trees for the winter. So that's how it began.
Whether you live in a historic house or a downtown high-rise apartment, there are a lot of public places around the valley to watch, enjoy, and photograph birds and other wildlife.
We have some beautiful parks. Papago Park is one of my favorite places to see birds. The Glendale Recharge Ponds, although not a favorite place for photographers, is a wonderful place to spot some of our winter visitors. Tres Rios, which is further south. Some of the places out here, Zanjero Park, which is, again, not a favorite place for photographers.
There is one place that is dear to the heart of the serious birder, so much so that it has been designated an Arizona Important Bird Area. Mention the riparian and they all know you're talking about the Gilbert Water Ranch.
The Gilbert riparian is an absolute jewel for this area. It has 7 ponds that vary in how much they're filled and therefore bring in a variety of different birds throughout the season. Every season is different. We have ducks in the winter. We have egrets almost year-round. The northern harrier and some of the other hawks are making an appearance right now. It's just an amazing place that you can wander around for hours and just see a variety of birds and also enjoy the company of other birders. There she is right there, because that's part of the fun of bird photography as well, is getting to know some of the people who share your passion.
On a recent outing to the riparian, Peggy met up with friend and fellow photographer Jaime Ontiveros for a personal tour of the area.
There's all kinds of wildlife at the riparian. You definitely can see coyotes at pretty much any given visit. Plenty of bunny rabbits, lots of birds. We've even had a few bobcats. So,
Bobcats out here?
a couple of bobcats along the way, yep. An owl, great horned owl in this tree right over here. I'll tell you, it sat there and let everybody who walked by take pictures of him. I couldn't believe it. Let's check out Pond 5 here, Jaime. Usually some good ducks out there. Maybe we might see the harrier. Well, we've got a snow egret out there. And yep, there's our northern harrier. He's flying in. Looks like the female coming in.
The back of Pond 5 is a regular haunt of the northern harriers, including one male the birders refer to as the gray ghost.
Oop. And there goes the snow egret catching my eye here. Can't miss an egret shot. Oh boy. Wildlife photography is all about patience. There's no question about that. Setting up and watching and waiting. But the payoff is amazing, that's for sure.
I call it fishing with a camera.
Definitely. There's a hunting great egret out there right now.
Man, you know your birds.
Yep. The great egret has the orange beak and no yellow slippers. The snow egret's got the little yellow slippers, so that's the easiest way to tell them apart. Oh yeah, got some great action shots there. Fun stuff. When they can't find fish, they'll go after the rats and the mice in the field.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, I actually watched a blue heron take down a turtle about this big.
Oh my gosh.
No kidding.
What, just by beaking it?
It just grabbed it and sucked it down. Amazing.
Oh.
I've seen him take frogs.
The turtle.
And lots of mice and rats, that's for sure.
Mistake.
Talk about patience. Watch this great egret just waiting for his prey to surface. Little ruffle, little grooming, love that. Love to get those shots.
Does it get kind of frustrating? You come to one pond, and there's nothing there, and you have to go on?
Well, you have to do a little looking around when you get to the riparian, because you never know what pond is going to be open, which one's going to be active.
What are you looking for when you come out? I mean, obviously, if the bird's sitting there, but I mean, are there little things that tell you this ought to be a good spot today?
Well, water helps. Water, and if you can see some activity, you know that there's some food, because that's the two ingredients for birding.
That's the key. They
Yep,
eat.
water and food. One of the things I love best is to find birds out in the open to get those portrait shots, but there is a great love in behavior shots and therefore catching them in the shadows and light, letting light work with you, and to create a story with the birds. Behavior is definitely a lot of fun. It's without a doubt the number one enchantment I have with this birding is their behavior. Learning what they do, learning to be able to predict helps your photography greatly. If you can kind of figure out what they're going to do next, where they're going to fly, when they're going to jump, it absolutely increases your success rate with birding photography.
This photo of the parenting behavior of American coots was chosen for the 2015 Arizona Wildlife Views calendar. Shazam, her now famous picture of a green heron, was the May poster bird for the department's 2014 calendar and won second place in the Arizona Highways Magazine 2014 photography contest. Because of her success, she is often asked, what is the best camera for bird photography?
The best camera for bird photography is the one you have in your hands. And what I mean by that is, I don't care if you're carrying a cell phone camera or a setup like this, which mine happens to be a Nikon D800 with an 80 to 400 lens. The whole beauty of birding and photography is just capturing your first few birds, because I guarantee you, when you do, you'll get hooked and then you'll want to move on. As far as a brand, depends on who you talk to. You generally join up on one team or the other when you start buying birding photography equipment. So Nikon versus Canon versus Sony, it's what works best for you.
Another consideration is the image size. The two most common choices are the full frame and the cropped sensors. Before spending a lot of money on equipment, talk to your camera store expert and see which one suits your needs best.
Most important is the lens. You want to get at least an 80 to 400 lens. If you can get something larger, God bless you, because it gets real expensive. And typically you do have to carry a tripod with you or a monopod with you in order to carry some of the bigger lenses. This is a great walk-around lens, the 80 to 400, which is what I prefer, handheld. And that is because you never know what you're going to see. I can be shooting at a northern harrier out in the field and see an egret over my shoulder, and then I'm on that. Oh, there's our guy. Wow, he'll be back. He's coming back into the field. Making the rounds. I can tell you, if there had been a lot of birds here, we would have known when that harrier was anywhere close to flying over, because those birds are up. The most important variable in bird photography, in my opinion, is shutter speed. You want to keep your shutter speed up. Therefore, I keep it on 1,000 to 2,000 at all times. It's just the staple. It has to happen. If you're going to shoot shutter speed priority, then your aperture is going to change. How your depth of field, how close you are to the bird, is going to vary. Again, one of the best things to do, in my opinion, is shoot manual, but that is kind of the way that I go. The higher the ISO, the more noise in the photo. Oh, look at the little shorebirds. So close.
Another decision you'll need to make is whether to shoot JPEG or RAW format. Each has distinct advantages, and Peggy isn't bashful about her preference.
Absolutely, I shoot RAW. That is the way, in my opinion, to photograph birds, because it keeps, again, a lot of control in your hands with regard to processing. I process with Lightroom 5 and believe in it wholeheartedly for what we need to do. It's quick, it has amazing results, and it has great storage capabilities. A lot of advantages to Lightroom. But yes, I do shoot RAW. Probably the best investment that you can make when you're getting into birding and bird photography is a good bird book. Sibley's, Peterson's Guide, there's lots of them out there.
Joining social media groups like Birding Arizona and the Southwest on Facebook will also get you a lot of great information about photography and new and different birding locations. Back in the day, the secret to successful wildlife photography was to shoot Kodachrome 64 and get up early in the morning. Well, in this digital age, few people shoot Kodachrome film, but the getting up early part hasn't changed.
The best time to find birds is when they're up first thing in the morning and they're feeding, and guess what? That's the best time for us to get out with light and find the birds. And with a DSLR, a digital single lens reflex camera, you've got lots and lots of ammunition in taking pictures one after another. Sunset is also a good time to find birds. Again, they're going to get in there, they're eating and feeding just before they go to rest. And again, it's the best light for us. When you get into shooting wildlife, there's a passion that comes about that's unmatched. You just feel it. You become part of the nature, part of their scene, part of their lives, part of their world. And the blessing or the reward that comes from it is when you get home and look at your photos and see some of the pictures that you got, and it sparks you to get back out there and go at it again.
Hoover Dam. Implanted within the Black Mountains of northwestern Arizona, it is surrounded by some incredibly rough terrain. With only half an inch of rainfall annually and scarce vegetation, this land would be inhospitable to most creatures. But it's exactly where you'll find one of the largest populations of desert bighorn sheep on the planet. The area surrounding the dam is the perfect place to see these creatures in their native habitat. And that's exactly what these adventurous people are about to do. Each summer, guides from the Arizona Game and Fish Office in Kingman launch several boats full of guests onto the Colorado in search of desert bighorn sheep. Starting at Willow Beach, the workshop takes 49 participants up the river to the base of the Hoover Dam and then returns back to the dock in the afternoon.
Oh, we rent 5 boats, and we have what we call a spotter, which is one of our wildlife managers who patrols this area. He goes out in his law enforcement boat, and he serves as a spotter. He goes ahead of the pack and looks for sheep, and if he finds them, he calls us all on the radio, directs us where to go, and all the boats get to go in and have their opportunity for a really good watchable wildlife viewing opportunity.
And it's not long before the first sheep of the day is spotted.
I guess he's just already drank. He has a good drink of water.
And there are several more close by.
One of them's getting ready to jump, but he's thinking about it. It's so much fun to watch, especially you get to watch lambs. They're very playful. They're out here in the blacks right now, and they run around, they'll jump. And to see where they're jumping from ledge to ledge, you know, at such a young age, that's impressive as well. And the ewes are really never very far from those lambs. We're not here to give a pleasure cruise. We're here to educate the public. And we talk about sheep behavior, and one of them, of course, is coming down to the river. And unlike, you know, one of the things we talk about is like cats and dogs. You watch them and relate to them as they lap up water with their tongues. Well, sheep don't do this. They come down to the river and they'll be real skinny, and they don't lap up water. They shove their entire muzzle into the water and they suck up water. And they can drink up to 4.5 gallons of water in just 2 minutes. And that's how they recover quickly from a dehydrated state. And maybe a lot of people don't know this, but sheep, we all relate camels as a desert animal, but desert bighorn sheep can lose more body weight in water than a camel and still survive. And part of that is how they can recover very quickly from that dehydrated state. So it's a lot of fun to watch them. And as they drink, they come down and they're like this, and then they drink. It's like watching a balloon blow up. They do, and the whole stomach blows out, and it's it's a lot of fun to watch. We try and make other stops during the sheep workshop. One of them is there's a lot of hot springs throughout the Black Mountains, and one area of during the sheep workshop, as you approach the Hoover Dam area, there's a little waterfall that comes out, and it comes out from a hot spring and drops down, and the water coming down that waterfall is running about 80 to 90 degrees.
At the halfway point, the workshop stops at the Hoover Dam for a view relatively few people get to see.
When you drive, go to the Hoover Dam and you look from it down, that's one vision. When you see it from the bottom looking up, you kind of go, wow, that thing is huge. This was my 21st sheep workshop that I've done, and next week will be number 22. And a lot of the information I get that I pass on to the public comes from people like Gunnar Erickson. He's a wildlife manager that runs this segment of river, so often that he's become very, very knowledgeable.
Today, I believe that they saw a little bit of rutting behavior. The rams chasing the ewes around, where they'll put their head back and they'll stick their lips out and they'll chase after a ewe a little bit. You don't see that all the time. We didn't see any of the rams butting heads today. We've seen it in the past, but today we didn't see that on my group. Did get to see some lambs, probably about a 2-month-old lamb, and we saw a total of, I believe, 56 sheep today.
I'm pretty excited, and I'm just blown away about how amazing it was. I've seen one bighorn in the wild once, and that was like driving over the dam on the side of the road. And today, I think we saw about 44 bighorn sheep. It was incredible. This is one of our best kept secrets, I think, our wildlife. I mean, everyone knows that we got rattlesnakes and tarantulas, but I don't think a lot of people think about bighorn sheep when they're from other areas. So I would encourage people to come up to the Black Mountains, you know, on the way to Hoover Dam, north of Kingman, and come down here to Willow Beach and get a boat and get out there and look. I had no idea it was so easy to see bighorn sheep.
Archery has always been a sport that takes a keen eye and a steady hand, where the challenge of competing against yourself was the ultimate reward. But now it's also considered to be just really cool.
Look at that! Good job!
It was cool. They're like cool weapons. I like it. It's really cool.
After the release of The Brave and the first Hunger Games movies, along with the TV media that had been paid to archery, we experienced a huge growth. Our classes were filling up. We had to schedule 2 and 3 times the amount. Archery is also the fastest growing sport in the school system, and we are officially bigger than Little League nationwide now.
So to give even more young people the opportunity to try their hand at archery, Arizona Game and Fish sponsored the first Release Your Wild event at the Ben Avery Shooting Facility. The free archery day allowed families to try a variety of target venues and courses.
What we wanted to do is really funnel all of that energy to give the kids a chance to try archery, and then also give them a chance to visit some of the area archery clubs that have booths out here as well, to channel them to see which way they'd like to go, and then also to make sure that they continue on with the sport if they liked it.
And then you'll sort of hang it around your neck and have that with you for the day.
What they do is they register and they get a neat little passport. Then they go and they learn how to safely shoot a bow, stance, and the safety rules of archery, because it is important that they learn safety right off the bat. Then we teach them the introductory archery, which all the targets are black and they're a little bit closer, which gives them a better opportunity to be successful early on.
Good job. All right, come on back, guys. Come on back.
Awesome.
After they get comfortable with how to use the equipment on the first course, they go on to the advanced stage where the targets were a little further away. This is where they learn how to score their shots, and for some, they also experience the thrill of hitting their first bullseye. The course even included the chance for them to try their hand at crossbow, as well as some of the more traditional bows.
For a second, I thought they were kind of pretty, lamer than crossbows.
But now, what do you think?
Pretty awesome.
After they've gone through the advanced, then they get to go to the 3D, where they shoot various distances, some different animals, and learn about the anatomy of the animal and some of the wildlife that we have in Arizona. After they're done shooting with those 3 segments, they come out to the stalking event to teach them how to sneak up on each other.
Gotcha.
And then they go through the walking trail, which is a path through the woods, various different targets, different distances, different scenarios that they would have to encounter if they were in the wild. Once they're done and their passport is filled with stickers, they get to return the bottom portion of the passport to our tent, and we have some great prizes to give away for them as well.
The passport also allows the participants to return for a free round of archery in the future.
Archery is a wonderful youth development sport. It has been shown, even in my case, it keeps kids interested, it gets them outdoors, and it's a lifetime sport, regardless of how old you are or your physical abilities. Archery can be done by anyone.
Many of the youngsters who came to the event had their own reasons for wanting to try archery.
I like archery, and it was fun.
Why did you want to come shoot a bow?
My mom made me.
Yeah. But you think Mom's pretty cool now that she let you do it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm preparing for the zombie apocalypse.
But whatever their reason, for many, archery was right on the mark.
Because I thought it would be fun because I've never shot any before.
And what did you think?
Awesome.
Well, that's our show. Hope you enjoyed it. For more information, visit our website at azgfd.gov. For all the fine folks at Arizona Game and Fish, I'm Jim Paxson. We'll see you next time.